And welcome back. For over 4 decades, one event has stood as the pinnacle of gospel music celebrations, bringing together the most influential voices in the industry for an unforgettable experience. The McDonald's Gospelfest returns for its 42nd annual celebration, continuing to inspire, uplift, and spread good news through music, arts, and entertainment. And join me now is the Emmy Award-winning producer and director of McDonald's Gospelfest. We've got A. Curtis Farrow here with us, and my brother.
Hey,
good to have you, man.
Your brother, and that's correct.
Thank you.
It's good to be here.
Good to have you, man. Good to have you.
I'm here.
I mean, it's great to have this conversation. Great to be with you because
Yes.
it's an important time for you.
Yes.
But I do want to take the moment just to unpack something for a minute because the
Okay.
work that you've done
Right.
has been
Okay.
tremendous in the community. And when we
Yes.
talk about, social justice,
Yes.
this has been a form of social justice, if you will,
Absolutely.
bringing much needed resources to
Oh,
the
yeah.
community.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, folks don't realize it, but especially, I love young people.
Right.
And especially with the McDonald's Gospel Fest, for years and years and years, it's really about young people. So it's really about getting in the community and having that connection. A big part of social justice
Yeah.
is making sure we are connected. And that is really a big part of the McDonald's Gospel Fest. I mean, years and years ago, the group of Black McDonald owner-operators, they came up with the idea of Gospel Fest. They were the first people in the world to take that word festival and cut it to fest.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, McDonald's Gospel Fest blew up, and now you hear everybody's got a fest, a fest.
Right.
But the point is what they wanted to do. At that time, McDonald's was sponsoring the Olympics, the NBA, the Super Bowl. And they were like, that's all great, but we want a deeper dive of supporting folks who are in the community. And we want to do that through gospel music. And, and they were determined, a group, led by the great Lee Dunham and many of those, they were really truly
the pillars, right?
They were pillars, but they were really, I guess what you could call them, civil rights advocates.
Right.
And they were determined that we needed to do something to go back to the community on the ground. Mm-hmm. And they're like, that's great that they see it on the NBA. Come on, we all know that the NBA is sort of like untouchable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or they see it in the Super Bowl, untouchable. But they were like, no, we want something that touches the community and something that we can get in there and we can help the community. And there's just so many stories about what McDonald's Gospel Fest has done in different communities. And even going to different communities and doing the auditions in different settings of downtowns or areas that people are like, oh, that area is not great to go. And we go to the Gospel Fest, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my God, wow, they did the Gospel Fest there and there was no trouble, there was no this. Oh, we can invest there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're right. It's social justice is not about just marching.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's about advocacy and
Correct.
And it's about equality and fairness and all the stuff that you talk about.
Activating.
And part of what you do, not part, a big core of what you do is tied to the church, right? And
Absolutely.
the fact is that when we talk about social justice,
You got to talk about the church.
you got to talk about the church.
Yes.
Every major social justice movement came through the church. The
That's
Million Man
correct.
March
That's
came
correct.
through the church.
That's
Voting
correct.
rights came
That's
through
correct.
the church.
That's correct.
The March on Washington came
Correct.
through the church.
And the Black Lives Matter was a group, the young people really pushed that and led that. But then it just dropped off.
Right.
Then it just I always say to young people, where are you?
Right.
What happened? You know what I'm saying? And now we're back with the church is leading again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So the church has always been, I would say, the apex or the center of social justice in this country, not for just Black people though.
Right.
If you
Right.
really know socially what's happened in this country.
The marginalized, the
yes.
underserved,
Yeah,
the
it's-
immigrant,
yeah,
the
it's
whole
the-
9 yards, they've been there.
Yeah. It's really all of us benefit from socially being involved.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about what's going on now, man,
Yes.
because you got some great things happening.
We do.
McDonald's Gospel Fest continues
It's that
again.
time of the
This
year.
is year what now?
This is my 26th year.
Okay.
And it's the 42nd year
So-
of McDonald's Gospel Fest. There's no other gospel event in the world that can say that.
So we're doing things a little bit differently because normally we usually find you at the Prudential Center.
That's
and
correct.
If you've never been there before, I mean, I honestly can say that they have the New Jersey Devils games there.
Right.
That event is like, they struggle to really pack it out. Let's just be honest. Until they started winning. But
Right.
McDonald's Gospelfest,
yes.
you got
And
people like, I mean, sold out,
yes.
standing room only.
Yeah, and you know what's wild about that? We were their first event outside of the Devils.
Wow.
Yes, when it first opened, when the venue first opened, we were their first event, McDonald's Gospelfest. And it was wonderful, you know, packing all those people in there when everybody said to me, don't do it.
Right.
You're never going to get the community. See, that's social justice.
Right.
Nobody when you don't believe, you know what I'm saying? You got to activate and show people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that to me is the biggest part of being social. And so what I think what we did is that we went there, we did great, and it was going magnificently. But God put it on my heart. Like in the beginning, we used to go from place to place to place, and I had so many New Yorkers, because I moved it there in 2006. But I had so many New Yorkers and Connecticut folks saying, you took our program. When are you going to bring it back? You took our program. So then last year, as you know, we did 4 separate shows. We did some churches. We did the Lehman Performing Arts Center. You know what I'm saying? So we mixed it up. And oh my God, the reception was amazing. People were just like, it was like, I felt like I had maybe stole something that meant so much to people, because I literally had some people were like crying because they were so happy that we were back close to the community where they could go, they could still celebrate. And they just felt ownership.
Yeah, because sometimes it might be a little transportation issue getting out to New Jersey or whatever, but to have it in your own backyard or to watch your loved one or your choir right there, that's what makes right. So, so now this year you got 4 locations?
We have 4 locations. We have this Saturday, April the 5th. We're at the Union County Performing Arts Center in New Jersey, and that's Yolanda Adams and is our big star this year. So we have Yolanda Adams, we have Vashawn Mitchell, and Rich Talbert Jr., and it's going to be magnificent. That's this Saturday. But then the big weekend is Mother's Day weekend, because we've always owned Mother's Day weekend. You know, when I used to do Mother's Day weekend, and I can tell you this in 2000, in 99, but in 2000, we were Father's Day because that's when they had done it. And I came in and said, when they hired me as the producer, I said, wait a minute. How come we're on Father's Day? Let's move it to Mother's Day. That's who's gonna buy the tickets. And the minute we moved it to Mother's Day, it went crazy. And everybody was telling me, don't do Mother's Day. Don't do Mother's Day weekend. I mean, there were no big concerts. You know, nobody touched. It was like the Holy Grail. You did not touch Mother's Day weekend. There was church and going out to eat, and that's it. And so we did it, and we blew up, and now everybody, I mean, there are pop concerts, rock concerts, everybody's got something going on Mother's Day, and I'm happy to say that we started that.
That's it.
And so Mother's Day weekend is huge, and we are starting Mother's Day weekend off on May 9th, that Friday night, right here in the Boogie Down Bronx, and right here at the Lehman Performing Arts Center, and we are excited. We have a fantastic lineup. I mean, people are saying to me, all you got to do is just roll out the carpet and let them just sing, you know? So we're excited about that.
Can you share the lineup with us, too?
Yes, I can share it. Okay, of course, I said it before, Yolanda Adams. The great, backed by popular demand. She was here last year, but backed by popular demand, Shirley Caesar. And we have Karen Clark, and you know, can't nobody outsing Karen Clark. Karen Clark Sheard, the First Lady, of Church of God in Christ,
That's right.
Yeah, so Karen Clark, and booked Karen Clark, and you know, Dorinda was like, you can't book Karen and not book me. So then we booked Dorinda Clark Cole. And so, so everybody's saying to me, oh my God, you got Yolanda Adams, who nobody can really outsing. You got Karen Clark, nobody can outsing. You got you know, the First Lady of Gospel Music, who can usher in the Holy Spirit no matter where she is. I mean, no matter where she is. Then you got Dorinda Clark Cole, who can sing, but who also ushers in a spirit. And they were like, you're never going to get out of there. And I'm like, no, we're going to have a phenomenal time. So we're excited that May 9th, that Friday, we will be right here in the Bronx right here at the Lehman Center for the Performing Arts. And I think people can go online, go on their site, or they can go to Ticketmaster and you'll see the tickets for that particular show.
Right. And then you're going down into the city.
Yes, and then we're going gospel music on Broadway.
Okay.
We're going on that Saturday, we're going down to 43rd Street in Times Square at the Palladium Theater. We're so excited. We're taking gospel music on Broadway. It's going to be such a great weekend. And, I love it because we're going to be on Times Square. People can go and have lunch beforehand. There's so many restaurants. And, think about mothers just being in Times Square. It makes it a bigger deal. You know what I'm saying? It's so exciting. And so then we're taking that group there on that Saturday. We're doing a 2:30 show, a 2:30 matinee.
Okay.
And we're doing an evening performance at 7:30, just like the Broadway shows. And again, that's Yolanda Adams, Shirley Caesar, Karen Clark shared, and Dorinda Clark Cole. And you know me, I got something up my sleeve. We're going to have a surprise that day, too.
I bet you will.
Yes,
It's always that way. It's got to be a good feeling, though.
And that's Ticketmaster. Go to Ticketmaster.
So you go to Ticketmaster, make sure you check that out. It's got to be a good feeling, though, for you, because when you talk about 42 years, longevity, how many years you say you've been doing this now?
26.
Right. And you've got Emmy Awards.
Yes.
You've gotten several awards for this.
Yes.
To see it still continue, because we know we live in an environment where things have an expiration date.
Yes.
But it seems that you've cornered the market to a way where there is no expiration date on this right here that we can see, because it's touching so many people.
It's community.
Right.
It's community. And the one part that I forgot, I told you about the stars, but the biggest part of the Gospelfest is the community performers. So we have rappers. So here in Boogie Down Bronx, we're gonna have rappers at night. So we make it a competition, but it is really a time for them to really show everyone their talents and gifts that God has blessed them with. So that night we're gonna have rappers as well. And we're also going to have the praise dance groups. That's the bigger praise dance groups. And, people love them, and they're coming from everywhere. We have them coming from California. This year, people that are in the Gospelfest are coming from Japan. They're coming from Korea. They're coming from all over the world to be a part of McDonald's Gospelfest. And so we're excited. And so the different categories are going to be all over the market. So like Saturday, it's going to be the poets and the groups, the singing groups. Friday here in the Bronx, got to have rap. You can't take rap out of the Bronx.
Right.
So it's going to be the rap category, and then we'll have the praise dance groups, the big groups. Then on that afternoon, when we go downtown on that afternoon, we're going to have the female soloists, and we'll have the solo to trio praise dance groups, the smaller. And then that evening, we'll have everybody's favorite. We'll have the choir competition and the male soloists, which are the two most favorite categories for everybody.
I want to talk to you about some too while we got you here. Many people may not know that you're the person that's responsible for taking care of the arrangements for Whitney Houston.
Yes.
So if you saw that funeral, that's him.
Yes.
Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
Cissy Houston.
Yes, my dear sister, we just lost her. Yes.
All those voices have been at McDonald's Gospelfest.
Yes, absolutely. And Cissy Houston was at the very first one, she was a judge in the very first McDonald's Gospelfest 42 years ago.
Wow.
Yes, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I was there with Aretha.
Yes, you were there.
Right.
You were there.
And so,
absolutely.
Looking at the legacy that they leave behind and the work that you still have ahead.
I am, they left such a legacy and such a mark on me as a person, as a leader, as a person who's in charge. And I have to say, I learned something different from each one of them, if you know what I mean. I will say this, that, Aretha Franklin, I was friends with her, became friends after booking her. It was a dream because the last time she had done a gospel concert was when she filmed the movie, when she filmed The Amazing Grace. She put that album out, which was the #1 gospel album for like 30 years, for a lot of years. And so I was determined. I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can get Aretha Franklin. And everybody was like, never going to be able to do it, never going to be able to do it. And I called her, and she was so nice, and we did it right over the phone. You know, I tell everybody it was almost like we did the contract on tissue paper or tissue box. That's kind of how it happened, and she's like, okay, now we'll have the lawyers put it together next week. You know, and we became friends, and she would call me at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I always knew she was on the bus, couldn't sleep.
Right.
But what she taught me is that the entire time, even through all of our friendship, she taught me something as a leader that for me to never let go of. She said, people will want to call you Curtis. People will want to call you, you know, other things. But she's like, but you are Mr. Farrow. And she always called me, this is Aretha Franklin.
Right.
She always addressed me as Mr. Farrow, just so that I could remember the respect and the responsibility of leading. You know what I'm saying? And so, so that was, you know, just amazing. And of course, Cissy Houston, you know, who I was 100% close to, you know, she sort of did the same thing even during Whitney's homegoing service. She was saying to me, here, that's your black card. It's on you. Basically, she was like, do what you got to do. I trust you to make it be the best and to do what we need to do. Yeah, and the people don't even know, like people always say, oh, it was so great, but I was the one who made the decision that we were only going to use one camera in the church. And people to this day are like, oh my God, did you only use one camera? We used one camera, but that move of using only one camera made everybody on the outside felt like they were able to peek in. And lock in. And that one camera, that's all we used. And and people still talk about that to this day. Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, I met Aretha, oh my God, like several years back. And then she came up to Syracuse. And, we were backstage with her, got her into
Isn't she great? She was great, right?
She got into the limousine. It is my favorite Aretha Franklin story. She got in the limousine, thought she was going to the hotel, whatever the case would be. And you know what she said? She has a limousine, stretch limousine. Can we go down here and stop at McDonald's?
Yes, that's her.
Bug me out.
Yes, that's her.
That's who she is.
That's her. We would have her dressing room because her rider has got all of this fancy food, all of this stuff on there. You put all of that in her dressing room and you go in and it's still there. And she'd be like, okay, go down the street and get me a bucket of chicken or go get me something. She was truly a home girl at heart, at soul, and of course, she was the queen.
That's it. That's it. We got to get ready to go. Before we go again, let's tell the people again. Coming up, May 9th, right here at the Lehman Center for the Performing Arts. Mother's Day weekend, it's big, it's big, it's big. You got Yolanda Adams, you got Shirley Caesar, Karen Clark Sheard, and Dorinda Clark Cole for McDonald's Gospelfest. That's May 9th. Go to the website and you can get how you can get tickets. And then that next day, we're going to be downtown at the Palladium on Broadway. And with the same lineup, it's going to be a phenomenal weekend. You can go to Ticketmaster.com to get your tickets. I'm so happy to see you, my brother. I love you. I love you
and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Thank you, bro. Same here, man. Great to have you again,
Thank you for having me.
For year number 42 for McDonald's Gospelfest, as we said, taking place right here at the campus of Lehman College. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more right after this.